Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. It is Tuesday night. It's the 23rd of January. It's it's mental outside. Dunner said to me, "Gav, I can't guarantee I'll be here for the whole hour because it sounds like his house could fall down on any stage in the west of Ireland. If it goes down here and the power goes down where I am, the whole show is just gone. So forget it. If the power goes down for Keith, sure, he'll hook into a neighbours and it'll be all right. That's what Keith does. Keith, what happened with the shed in the end?
Oh, your man went down and got it and had to bring it back up. There's all sorts. Hey, I should have played and took a picture. There's a Subway across the road from me, the sandwich shop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And like a canopy, that thing comes
yeah.
out
The
over,
awning,
fell
as they
down,
would
right?
call it.
Fell down, blocked the whole thing, right? You know what they done to open the shop? They got a Stanley knife, cut a hole in the fucking
In the awning,
tarpaulin.
and just everyone just went through
Everyone went through it. Still
it.
there now.
So
Absolute
anyway,
carnage caused by this storm.
anyone that doesn't know what happened, Keith lives on the third floor. The guy on the fourth floor has a rather large balcony, and he stuck a shed on it. And the shed got lifted up out of its standing and thrown one
Over the
floor
balcony.
down onto the
Yeah.
road. He just went and got his shed back, did he?
He just went and got it back, yeah.
Yeah,
Now, when I say a shed, right, it's not a blatant big, huge thing. You
yeah,
know what I mean? It's probably a 6 foot, um, 3 foot wide or something like that. Do you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
not the deepest thing in the world. But blew
yeah.
over,
It's one of
went
those
down and
things you
got it.
buy on Shein. You see it. He bought it
No,
off a Facebook ad, didn't he?
no, do you know what it'd be? I actually have one myself, but I've only a smaller one. It's like a plasticky thing out of Woodies.
Oh, a storage box, like a storage box.
But this is the big one.
Yeah,
So I only
like
have the storage one
his
that's
looks
only
like a
waist height.
wardrobe.
Yeah, it's like a wardrobe, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's a wide thing and it's a tall, blew over, went down, had to get it back up.
there you go.
Carnage,
That's yeah,
absolute
all the
mayhem.
storms. Um,
Yeah,
we talked about storms for 20 minutes at the start of the show last night, so I'm going to cut it short here if
it's
that's all right.
storm season.
But
It's
the
fucking storm
the
season.
show did end with Phil playing the Luis Suarez theme tune on a
Yeah,
child's pink piano, which was
amazing
outstanding
stuff.
start to 2024. Donner's looking going, I have a listen to that. Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm not,
But
but once you say Phil, I'm not surprised anyway.
yeah, yeah, go back. He actually
Yeah,
texted me today and said, I might just hang up the old podcast boots now. He said, I think
he's
I've
won it.
peaked.
He's
I've
completed.
peaked. Yeah. So of course the pressure will be back on Keith now with the tin whistle to come back and hit back with that. Anyway, let's get into it.
Why not?
First of all, some good news for Liverpool. Um, looks like Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson, um, Dominic Szoboszlai will all play a part. Looks like definitely on Sunday against Norwich, and it looks like Robertson's in the squad for tomorrow against Fulham. Keith, when we were talking on that show last night, we were talking about the squad depth that's needed to win a league title, and like what's Liverpool have to bring back is being underplayed a little bit. No one seems to ring out the names that Liverpool are missing, but they'll do it for other clubs, and um, but just they're starting to come back, Keith, and it feels like it's just adding to my optimism here that these boys are just coming back in right bang on time here.
Yeah, it's the timing is nice, because you mentioned those lads, but we also have Curtis Jones, who we thought may have been out for an extended period. Looks like he's okay, and the importance that Curtis Jones has in this team now, it's going through the roof. His importance, so to keep him taking over is nice. Simicast isn't far away, a few weeks away. Not that Simicast is a first team player, but it just creates options in other places. It
Mm-hmm.
frees Joe Gomez up as well, who I have to say, Joe Gomez and Curtis Jones over the last few weeks have been the best players for me, consistency wise. I know there's been other good performers like Ebu and that, but for me, Gomez and Curtis have really stepped up. So it frees Joe Gomez up as well. We're getting Simicast back, and then we still have Thiago. We spoke on Sunday. You don't think we'll see him again. We might see
I'd
him
love
again in
to,
the running.
but
Yeah, we might. But imagine that 6 games, 7 games to go, and Thiago's back playing, and you're dropping him in for 20 minutes into a game, or you're starting him in a game, controlling, dictating. If McAllister keeps up the form, so everything is starting to. I'm not saying starting to come good because right, McAllister. A lot of people still the jury's out. And I love McAllister. He's one of my favourite players in the world, and I think he's been quietly good since he's gone into that number 6 role. Maybe not the passing, which has surprised me because it's a strength of his, but his tackling and his winning of the ball has been amazing. And the other day, he just put it all together and was great. If he carries that on, Endo to come back in, who people had down as a joke figure, ends up getting into the team and smashing it when he's there. He's to come back. Salah to come back. I know he's injured, but maybe a little break for Salah isn't the worst thing in the world either. Do you know what I mean? Like if you can get an injury that's not a season derailer, but he gets him back in 3 weeks, and other lads are there to take up the
He's going to
slack.
be back. He's going to be back roughly around the time he would have come back from the AFCON if they'd have won it.
Yeah,
but he's just not going to
exactly.
play football in that time.
No, he's not going to play football. Yeah,
I have a bit of a hot take on the Salah stuff.
It's not true at all.
No, but it's not a mad take, altogether. But it's people constantly going on about with Salah not being there. Everyone needs to step up. Forwards need to step up. I actually think with Salah not being there, it actually gives the lads players without a little bit of pressure to step up and be the top boy. The likes of Núñez and Jota and everything, that they're not living up to the hype of Salah, and they're not depending on him all the time when he's on the pitch. That when he's there, they feel like everything has to nearly go through. Now they can step up and be the top boys when he's not there, and they can actually do it with a bit more confidence. I think even Núñez might have even paid benefit to that the other night.
So if you look at that in that theory, done all right, it's all good because it gives them that bit of freedom to bring confidence into themselves, put some goals, assists on the board, and you still have Salah to come back because they all love playing with him. There's no doubt about that. But it just there's two good things to this, really. Well, not two good things because he's not playing, but what I mean is that there's positives to it. Even though we've kind of looked and went, what are we going to do without Salah? To have him coming back still around the same time he would have anyway, and not playing games in the next 3 weeks. And these boys, like you said, coming into their own, I suppose, in the next, for a month while he's not there.
Can you imagine as well for opposition teams, if these lads have stepped up in the next few weeks and we're still doing the business, still top of the league, running away with it all, and then Salah has to come back, the fear that's going to be struck into opposition teams is going to be frightening. There's going to be it's going to be like a City aspect where people, with De Bruyne, the way people are reacting to De Bruyne coming back now, people are going to start thinking of us like that with Salah coming back. And even with Robbo and Thiago coming in, you're talking about two experienced players that have been there, done it all. Even just having their presence back in around the training squad, coming into first teams, that's going to be worth its weight in gold alone.
Yeah, I think so. I think them all coming back. Do you know why I like the timing of it? It's a couple of cup games thrown in. Now, I know one's a semi-final, one's a home game against Norwich, but they're starting to come back in where you go, God, we could realistically have Szoboszlai, Trent, Robbo all back in contention for Chelsea on the Wednesday, and just the timing is great. That's just for me. And look,
they can get a little half hour here and there just to get the sharpness into them, without the pressure.
They're into Chelsea, and I'm not saying they'll all start against Chelsea, but when you add those three even to a bench against Chelsea, or put one of them back in the team, and your bench immediately your team or your bench starts to look immediately stronger. Do you know the sort of way? And it shows teams like, Jesus, these are flying, and they're still bringing back players. Do you know what I mean?
Look at the variations we can put into teams now.
Yeah.
It's right in the midfield. We didn't have two midfielders to rub together last year, and you look at now next month, you could have a possible selection of nearly 7, isn't it?
Yeah,
and to be fair, on the form that they're all on, if if Salah comes back mid-February and we have a game, and he's the last one to come back, maybe along with Tsimikas, right? And I don't know if Thiago turns up in the meantime. I don't think Bajcetic will, but everyone say bar Bajcetic is fit. It's a hard fucking squad of 18 to pick, or whatever it is, because all of a sudden you're looking going, well, there's 15 or 16 have really put it in the last month here, and there's 4 coming back. 5 coming back, whatever it might be, and you're kind of going, and more than that actually, but you're going, this is going to be a hard 18 to pick. Do you know the sort of way? So I think I just feel like it's the right time. We still have to go and win the games, don't get me wrong, we still have to go and win the games. Look, we do the shows in the morning time, the 30 being Kevin Lovely, loads of football chat this morning. I was very disappointed. I like 10 minutes of football and 20 minutes of randomness, but people weren't up for it this morning, which is fair enough. So we will cover the likes of the Fulham lineups and the Norwich stuff across the next couple of days in the morning. So I'm going to skip over them a little bit because I want to talk about the fact that Chelsea game is going to be refereed by Paul Tierney. Now, Paul Tierney is a fucking cunt, right? Yes. And I don't care what time of night it is. I don't care. I should have said if your children are listening tomorrow, turn it down. But
who lets their children listen to this?
I don't know. Some people. And I don't care, right? Because I am fucking sick.
The kids need to learn. The kids need to know.
They need to know about Paul Tierney. But I'm just sick to the back teeth of this fella. He's constantly a problem when the referee is. Constantly referees us. He's on VAR on Sunday and skips over a tackle by Kluivert. Now, I'm not telling you it's a stonewall, definite red, but I am saying the referee doesn't give anything for it. Paul Tierney should be having a look, pulling it back and going, that's a yellow card or wherever it might be, or possible red, have a look. Maybe you give a yellow, I'm not sure. And I've seen a clip of Klopp asking the fourth official about the tackle, and Klopp actually saying, "Oh, it's Tierney, is it? Oh, okay." And he goes off. And next of all, he's knocked in again for us against Chelsea. And Donner, I'm just sick of the sight of this fella. And do you know what annoys me more? In the back of my head, I'm thinking, are Liverpool not pounding on someone's door here, going, "Will you just keep him away from us?" And here's all the fucking issues that we've had with him. You know what I mean? And maybe it can't be done. I don't know, but
we can't be done.
I just feel every time he referees us, something's coming up.
Yeah, there is. Look, there's a total correlation of what's going on with Paul Tierney and bad decisions going against Liverpool. It's in plain sight for everyone to see. The Curtis Jones one, for example, we'll all agree, it's not in the laws of the game. It's probably not even a red card, okay? But consistency says that should be a red card.
Correct.
And if nothing else, consistency says Paul Tierney should get the game stopped and for the referee to go and check the screen.
Yeah.
And tell him, go, listen, I don't think it's a red card. You go and have a look, though, because I think you've missed this one, and see what you think yourself. No red card, grand. At least they've checked it. They've properly looked it over. That one doesn't even bother me as much as the 2 penalty shouts, though. And 1 penalty shout hasn't even been mentioned, and that's when Darwin Núñez gets dragged to the ground in the box.
Yeah, and the one on Jota then.
Didn't even get played over,
Yeah, but the thing was about Sunday, and I've deliberately stayed away from it. So, and we didn't even talk about it on Sunday night show, Keith. We stayed away.
Johnny doesn't like talking about the refs.
No, we have to watch it. Johnny gets very upset. Yeah. And he was waiting on payday to come, and he was very, very stressed. So we kind of tried to be nice to Shawnee. We'll watch him out of it next Sunday. But I stayed away because I wanted to bring it up on this show, right? Like how quick that's looked at, and just nothing. And people were making comparisons, Keith, to the Curtis Jones tackle against was it Sarr, was it, off Sport?
No, it was
Basuma. Yeah. And I'm looking at it, and listen, they've taken common sense out of the game of football. So common sense tells you, listen, he's going, he's stretching, he catches him. It's a yellow card. Listen, you can't be fucking doing that. But common sense is gone. So if you hit somebody, right, lunging out of control, which he is, right, and you're that high up on the shin, which I stood showing, it's a red card. Simple as that. And again, the consistency is not there. The common sense, you can't use that anymore. Clear and obvious error, it is, because the referee doesn't give a single thing for it. So there's a clear and obvious error to stop the game. And when you look at Paul Tierney, and this is going right back to the time he didn't send off Harry Kane for lifting Robertson over in that game at Spurs. He done something else this season as well, because
he's done a few things. He was the VAR that McAllister was sent off against Bournemouth at Anfield for a fucking...
Was he the ref or the VAR?
No, I think he was the VAR.
Yeah.
He was the VAR,
okay.
I think.
There was one very similar as well.
There
was one very similar as well, because I remember Klopp saying to him, "It's no one else. It's always just you, though."
But that was after the Spurs game, wasn't it?
No, was that Burnley away? I think he might have wrestled Burnley away. Yeah.
No, I think that's at the end of last season with Tierney and Klopp.
No, there's definitely one this season.
Yeah, but the one where he said it's always you, that was 2 years ago or something.
No, a couple of years ago he said, "I don't have a problem with anyone else, it's just you." But there is one this season, I think, as well, where he says
there's been multiple times the litany of offences with Paul Tierney and Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, but Keith, do you I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any means, right? But I seen someone earlier say, listen, they're doing this for the entertainment value of Tierney and Klopp, and what might come out of it. And a lot of Liverpool fans will say, listen, they're doing everything they fucking can to do us at some stage here. Do you get behind either of them ideas? Or is it just a case of they're all fucking inept and he's just one of the worst?
I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Lovely.
When it comes to this.
I need to talk to you about the Titanic.
Generally, no, I'm not a conspiracy. I believe in all that, the moon and JFK, all that sort of carry on. But I'm a conspiracy theorist when it comes to the PGMOL screwing over Liverpool, because every fan base in every club will say the same, and that's just human nature. That's football. Give me a list of your bleeding complaints, lads. show me the list of crimes here, because what Liverpool can show are the fucking most ridiculous and most blatant decisions. Paul Tierney was the VAR on Saturday, right? Done her spot on. 2 penalties not given. The one on Jota, clearest pen, however, by the new rules, in the sense that he's on the line, it's in the box. Fabinho sent off against Sheffield United 3 years ago, was it? Foul on Ollie McBurney outside the box, but had a toe on the line. No, that's a penalty. That's inside. Okay, so it's inside. Penalty, not even blatant check. The red card, subjective. Okay, do we think it's a penalty? Are we crying that Curtis Jones shouldn't have been sent off because his wasn't a foul? And people say, well, then you can't moan about this one not being given. You can, because a precedent was set that it doesn't matter if he meant to hurt him. It doesn't matter that he didn't try to, that it wasn't actually a tackle as such. He slid over the ball. It was reckless and dangerous, and he endangered the opponent. Okay, well, if that's the precedent, that's fine. That's a red card then the other day for Justin Kluivert, because he's fucking flying over that ball and he does him on the upper ankle or whatever it is, the side of the shin. There's no consistency with them. The only consistency is that every time Paul Tierney is involved with Liverpool, there is a shocking decision. You'd mentioned the Harry Kane one in the game against Spurs. Also sends off Robertson in that game. Okay, Robertson.
It's Burnley away, he's the ref. It is Burnley away, he's the ref, because, and someone's reminding me there,
we got 2 goals disallowed.
Well, the goal that's disallowed first, do you remember Harvey Elliott, where Salah is pushed into the thing? And I actually remember thinking at the time, he's actually enjoying this. He's actually enjoying running to screens and looking at it.
Well, do you know what? I actually thought the other one was worse in that game, the Gakpo disallowed goal, because he fucking rushed to get that whistle in his mouth to disallow the Gakpo. Remember the Nunez...
Taylor, Charlie Taylor, isn't it? Tackles,
there's no sort of, he goes down, but there's no, he looks like he's tackled, and he even rushes to get the whistle. Every time there's an issue. Now, what I have a problem with this is, he's the referee for Liverpool against Chelsea on Saturday, okay? Do you believe he's a Manchester... On Wednesday, sorry. Do you believe he's a Manchester United fan? I don't know. People say he is, and there's that picture of Gerrard kissing the camera at Old Trafford, and he's apparently there in the background. It could be him, and might not be him. It could be just someone that looks like him, right? That's fine. He's the ref on Saturday after an absolute litany of shite against Liverpool, a public spat with Jurgen Klopp, and he was on VAR as well. John Brooks, the other fella that Jurgen Klopp had a spat with, that he ran up to in the Spurs game last season. Was Tierney the ref in that one as well? Probably was. They all work together. I remember when Jota scores in the last minute and Klopp runs up to the linesman, pulls his hamstring. That's John Brooks. He gets suspended he gets a suspension for that. Klopp gets a ban. He's on the VAR. You're not telling me, right, that they can't have other officials do Liverpool games. I'm not having it that he has to be one of the Liverpool officials. Chris Kavanagh, Anthony Taylor. We don't get Taylor that much, actually. We only get him when we play and do Man City. Yeah. But there's a load of these other refs, no mark refs, that I couldn't even tell you their names. Why do we always get Paul Tierney? Why do we have to get Paul Tierney? Is it a geographical thing? We don't get Michael Blade and Oliver.
Well, never been a geographical thing in the Premier League.
No, it's not a geographical thing, and like Dunner, without going like to tinfoil hat on it, it just seems to me like
Paul Tompkins does a great thread on this if anyone's interested.
Yeah, someone posted in there. Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Yeah, go and check out Paul Tompkins if you want to read his stuff with regards to it. But Dunner, without being accused of having the tinfoil hats on too much, what I find is that there's a decision there on Sunday, and this is the basic, brass tacks of it, right? There's a decision there on Sunday that not so long ago, Curtis Jones gets sent off, and others have been sent off. Don't get me wrong; it's not just Curtis Jones. And by the way, I don't think that's a red card for Curtis Jones in normal people's view, but the rules have been put in place by the Premier League, and the PGMOL says that he's over the top of the ball, he's reckless, he can endanger a player, right? So me and you sitting at home go, he's calling, but look, he's stretching, and a bit like, do you remember the Rashford run away in the Champions League that time, and he tries to protect the ball and catches your man, right? It's one of those things that can happen. It's split second stuff. Like, I'm slowing it down as stupid anyway. But the decision there on Sunday that goes, like, no decisions made. There's no free given. The game just continues on, right? And the VAR has the option there in Paul Tierney to look at that and go, if you're actually going on anything else that's gone on before, that's a red card. In our book, in the book we fucking go by, that's a red card, right? No, they don't. So that's the first problem. The second problem is, who in the PGMOL done is turning around going, that's a bit of a ropey one on Sunday. Paul Tierney's involved. It's Liverpool. We're not going to put him on this Wednesday. Because why? Because we're not fucking stupid. Let's not drum up unnecessary attention on ourselves by putting them back on. And Dunner, it's not just a Liverpool thing. If that was Bournemouth and Newcastle, right, at the weekend, and then Newcastle are playing Chelsea next Wednesday, and Tierney goes from that game to that game in successive Premier League games for these teams. Surely you'd be going, why is he put on that Dunner? They make no sense in anything they do. From the most simplest decisions to take the heat off themselves, they make the wrong decision even on that.
But see, Gav, I think the biggest problem with the PGMOL is they double down on everything. So they do. So even with Tierney making the wrong decision on Sunday, they don't see that nearly as an issue. They say, well, put him in for the next Liverpool game and let's see do things go right, and we'll show that, we're not actually against Liverpool, or we're not against anyone else, and they're constantly doubling down on things. But like, they've tied themselves up in so many knots that they've changed the rules of the game so much that they don't even understand the rules themselves anymore. Look at the handball situations. Like, it's all over the place. They don't know where it's at. That tackle there on Sunday from Justin Kluivert. Look at the one that is it. Decore or Onana, who is it that gets sent off for Everton a couple of weeks ago?
It's not the Calvert-Lewin
one. Calvert-Lewin against Palace in the cup.
Calvert-Lewin one. Reckless endangerment. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't even touch the lad. Yeah. And now they're coming back. They're admitting they made a mistake on this. Now, this is conspiracy theory, right? And I don't know if it's true or not. I think we spoke about it a few weeks back.
Doesn't matter, don't know. We'll tell people it is. Go on, we'll back you to the hills. Go on.
But it's one thing that annoys me is the commentators. Someone says they can hear what the commentators are saying. And if you go back on Sunday and the commentators straight away when that tackle is made by Justin Kluivert, like, oh no, that the lad hasn't meant that. That's soft. That's purely accidental. And they're giving it all like, poor Justin Kluivert, lovely lad, blah blah blah. Yeah. And it's just, and then there's nothing from it. There's no check. There's no nothing. And there's been previous where there's this decisions been made, and the likes of Neville and Carragher have been saying, "Oh, I don't know, that's tight." And then the decision comes out that no goal given for an offside or blah blah blah.
They're getting it early, but you see, this all goes back to the Spurs Liverpool game, because if you remember rightly, afterwards Neville and Carragher, I think it was definitely Neville, I'm not too sure if Carragher was there, and they're talking about the decision and they're saying, we heard nothing in the box. We usually hear it in the box and we didn't hear anything. Yeah. And we're like, then they played the audio and you're like, well, what do you hear then? And basically what they hear is they hear the decision before the decision hits the screens. Right?
Yeah, but what the little theory I have is that are the lads in the VAR box hearing what they're saying while they're replaying the decision, or while they're looking?
I don't think they do. I think what was happening was, like Emmett says there, they've also changed the rules on the ref going to the screen. They no longer get shown the freeze frame first. They get shown the action in full speed. How can you change a rule mid-season? Well, they're changing it.
All the bleeding time.
It's all to reduce the amount of letters they have to send out to clubs. Yeah. Howard Webb's fucking, you've got writer's cramp.
We're in a situation, right, where we have a system in play now, VAR. Like, every game should be a near perfect refereeing performance.
Correct.
Like, there's no.
Yeah, but you see, you can't achieve that if the level of consistency is as horrendous as it is. Now,
but the consistency is, though, Gav, is that they're looking to protect their friends. That they've made.
Well, that's the consistent bit, because Justin Kluivert, whether he means it or not the other day, and intent is not part of it. Justin Kluivert should be red carded the other day, and I'm not saying Justin Kluivert makes a red card challenge. There's two different things. But if you go on the rules that are in there and the precedent that's being set and the examples you can get, Justin Kluivert gets a red card, because you've seen it throughout the season, right? You've seen it throughout the season, but the consistency isn't there. Like, if you look at and I'm not picking on because I'm Man City, but Kovacic goes through the back of Martin Odegaard. At the game at the Emirates, and he literally off his feet from behind and he hits him above the ankle. It's a red card, and the referee fucking says no, gives me yellow. Now 5 minutes later, I think he does it to Declan Rice, and the ref doesn't know what to be done. No, straight away, without even thinking about it. He's not. So there's no consistency in what they're trying to do, right? And like Gary Neville is telling you this week now, it's terrible and it's a disgrace the way clubs are writing to the PGMOL. Why can't they go?
Arsenal started.
Yeah, Liverpool and Arsenal started this, blah 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 blah. But the gas thing is, right, Gary Neville needs to realise that when all this, Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher done mental gymnastics, right, and verbal gymnastics after the Liverpool against Spurs game, because when they came out with all this stuff, like a flick of a switch overnight, all of a sudden they weren't giving any problems to the referees, they weren't having to go to PGMOL, they weren't this, because I think they were told, will you stop doing that? We're getting access to this, stop doing it, right?
Gary Neville changed his in that game between the game and full time when he went into the
but
studio.
The other thing is, Gary Neville is questioning why Liverpool and Arsenal have started this. The reason they've started this, Gary, is because at the start of the season there's a set of rules and regulations that are set out the Premier League clubs. Every referees go to every club in the country. Gary knows this. They go to every club in the country. They spend a day or two at the club, every club in the Premier League, and they spend a day or two there explaining all the rules, how it works, boom, 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 boom. And next thing, it's changed this week, and it's changed that week. So you have to ring and go, or write and go, what is going on here? And Arsenal and Liverpool have, because they feel they've been badly wronged. Liverpool most definitely have. It's been proven without a shadow of a doubt. The Arsenal one is probably subjective. It's the header at the back post with Callum Wilson and Gabriel, right? But the thing is, he's saying that's embarrassing, right? Okay? But he knows it's not embarrassing, right? And 6 months ago, he wouldn't have said it was embarrassing. But until Sky got their fucking, got their chain yanked after the Spurs and Liverpool game, all bets are off now, and they're changing things. But the funny thing is, right, Gary Neville doesn't ring the Glazers in private and say to them, here, what are you doing? I think you're out of order. Does he? No, he doesn't. He does it all in public. It's embarrassing. It's Glazers absolutely embarrassing. And listen, come here and I tell you, I can't fucking stand him. Right, because everything he comes out with, he's a clickbait merchant now, Gary Neville, and he's probably got me. He probably has now at this stage got me, because do you know why he got me? Because he speaks with such authority, right? He speaks with such authority, and he's talking absolute drivel day on fucking day on day. And if Liverpool want to write a letter to the PGMOL asking them to clarify their rules that he continues to change, I think they've every right to.
If you want to watch him, go back, not to stick on this, but on that Spurs one especially, if you want to see Gary Neville flip-flop, go back to that day, right? And straight away after the game, remember they got word that the notice was going to be sent out that the PGMOL are going to apologise or whatever, and he makes those stupid noises. He's there, isn't good, this isn't good. They go to an ad break, he comes back and his tune has completely changed.
Yeah, 100%.
He's done a complete 180.
Well,
He's
the only thing you have to remember is Gary Neville having to go with someone sending a letter to somebody, right, is ironic, because Gary Neville was given a very public stage, right, after he made big songs and dance about the host of the last World Cup. He got a very public stage where he was able to travel to that country and sit down and tell them exactly what he thought of them. And what did he do? He done nothing. Right, so him having the nerve as to how people approach what's best in their best interest for their football club, their players, their staff, their fans, and everything else is an absolute joke. Because the next time Gary Neville says something publicly about the Glazers or Jim Ratcliffe or the fella that is good at the cycling that he's in charge now, Brailsford, the next time he does that, Gary Neville should be told, you're embarrassing yourself. Would you not do this privately? Because now all of a sudden Gary Neville's deciding when clubs and individuals have to do things in private or in public, while he does every single thing in public. Every single thing he does in public.
Did you not come out today about United? Did you not hear him today this evening?
No, Manchester United land. That's all I can think of.
He's come out now. United are making strides in the right direction. They've appointed all the right people. Everything is rosy now. The Glazers are amazing people now all of a sudden. Everything's been put in place.
Well, you see, the funny thing
He's a
is,
shy bag.
Gary Neville, for people to be put into those positions, I presume people have had to lose positions in order for them to come in, and they most definitely will, and because people will lose their jobs at Manchester United because they haven't been doing it. Now, Gary Neville on this subject has said in previous, there's not the right structure in place, there's not the right people in place, blah, 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 blah. They then get handballed around Old Trafford by Manchester City, and the first thing he says is, there's people within the football structure that aren't sure what they're doing. There's all this stuff around the club ownership, and then he turned and decided that they were the victims in it all. The victims in all this were the people who were in the football structure, yet months before, the people in the football structure were the issue. So which one is it, Gary? Right? Which one is it? He doesn't know which one it is. He just picks both sides. He picks a time difference between these two opinions. He puts them both out there and he goes with it. He's a fucking arsehole of the highest order. And honestly, he keeps doing everything in public and has an opinion on everything every football club does. But he can't seem to do this in private. Have the balls to walk up to Old Trafford, walk in the front door and go, can I have a word with fucking Jim Ratcliffe? Can I have a word with your man Brailsford? Can I have a word with the Glazers? I think this is wrong and this is why I think it's wrong. But no, he'll do it in public and everyone else should fucking shut them out. He's a prick of the highest order.
He is, he's a prick. But Donna could be onto something before we finish up on that. Maybe they're not hearing directly what the commentators are saying, but the commentators are creating the narrative and they're steering the narrative. And if the commentators don't speak up for a decision or a wrong, nothing will happen. So if you look at the likes of Wolves who got fucking screwed over time and time again.
But do you not think they've gone to the stage where you're saying creative narrative? I believe you, right? But do you not think they're creating a narrative, and the narrative straight away is to deflect away from what the referees and the VAR are doing?
That's what
the
I mean.
first thing out is
they're doing this now.
Yeah, their narrative is, how are we going to protect these people that are giving us information earlier than everyone else?
Look at the Jota one. Look at the Jota one on Sunday for the penalty. They show 2 replays of it, and then the second replay they say, it's inconclusive, it's a hard one to call, and they move along with the game straight away. Like, that needs to be, like, how anyone could look at that, even in VAR, in 2 seconds, take a look at that. Because then the ball goes out wide, I think. Bournemouth are attacking on the left, and they say, VAR check has been done for that, no penalty.
Yeah.
And that specific situation would take usually about nearly 2 to 3 minutes to look at properly, because you have to find out exactly where Jota is. Is he in the box, on the line? You cannot play that you can't see that within 30 seconds. You can't.
No,
but you see, that's where the fact that he done them with the dive against Newcastle, which wasn't a fucking dive at all. But Alan Shearer, Ian Wright, Gary Lineker, all out quick enough to say how embarrassing that was. Is Jota going to be punished now because a narrative is being set and a tone is being set for him, and they're not checking these things?
Well, I don't even know if it's Jota being punished. What I mean is that there's always the grey area, a clear and obvious error. So if I can just look at that and go, I'm not too sure on that, so it's actually not a clear and obvious error, so I'm not going to say anything. Whereas if the referee has made the decision and thinks, nah, that's not a penalty. Now, if he's in the VAR's ear going, no, I don't think no contact there for me. He's gone over a bit easy. Book him for simulation. But if the VAR hears the words, no contact there for me, and see his contact, he should go, listen, whoever the referee is, there was contact. So I think you might need to go and look at this. Now, you could tell us there's not enough. You could tell us it's outside the box, and they can't stop it, I don't think, again, for a free kick, but they can for penalties. If he says, yeah, there was contact, or you made an error there, but it was outside the box, I can't bring it back, fine. But at least go and do it. And they don't. They consistently make different decisions week on week. Anyway, let's get away with this because and it's probably my fault we spent that long on it, because I just fucking hate that other fella. I fucking hate him.
Fucking 3 hours on him we could.
I hate him. And do you know what it is? I love him as a football pundit. I love him as a football pundit. In studio, I love everything he has to say because he's a good thinker of the game. But when he does this stuff, there's either 2 things. One, he's actually that fucking stupid, right? Or 2, he's doing it just for the sake of, the brand, right? And the whole attention. And either way, it's wrong. It's just wrong. So
the worst thing that ever happened to Gary Neville was Jamie Carragher.
Possibly.
So when they became a double act on Monday Night Football, that's when all that shit started to come in, all this banter stuff and slagging each other about Liverpool and Man United. Before that, he used to do a detailed analysis on Monday Night Football, and it was one of the most interesting things to sit down and watch because his level of knowledge on the game was phenomenal. But that's all gone now. He rarely even breaks down a game now.
Chris Brack says
Look
no
what Roy
VAR,
Keane-
no VAR tomorrow is a concern with Tierney. Tierney's not in charge tomorrow.
No, well,
No.
I don't know who's in. He's in charge on next
Next
Chelsea
Wednesday
in
against
the
Chelsea.
league. Could be
don't
on
tell me we have him
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
No,
Anyway,
we couldn't do 3 games on the bounce. Could we?
let's move on from this. We've done some good news on Liverpool. We've done stuff on the whole Tierney stuff. The January transfer window. Now I'm going to mix all this together. I'm going to mix two things together here. The January transfer window has been quiet as anything. I think 3 clubs in the Premier League have paid money for players this month. That was in your head about a week ago, so probably a couple more have, right? It's Hooper. Simon Hooper tomorrow, says Ashley. Thanks a million.
He sure is.
They're all true. But this transfer window is very, very quiet. We all thought it was a buyer's market because teams are in a bit of financial slum or whatever. But then again, they probably have until the summer to sort that out and kind of ride that wave until the summer and then try to sort their issues out before they have to hand in accounts and stuff like that. But the only really big thing coming at the moment, Keith, is teams that are right on a tightrope. Arsenal seem to be, Villa seem to be, Everton certainly are. I'm not too sure on Forest because what's gone on there before. I think they might have got themselves out a bit of trouble with selling Brennan Johnson in the end, just done it too late. And then you look at Newcastle, who most certainly are. They're listening to offers for Kieran Trippier, Callum Wilson, Almiron, and it looks like the Saudis may come in with the old care package, right? Yeah. Where do you stand on this? Because I've seen people saying, well, look, if the Saudis want to buy and Newcastle want to sell, it's a transfer. It's the same way Fabinho was done, Henderson was done.
Totally different.
Or are you of the opinion it's different because this is the PIF buying from the PIF? No matter what way you look at it.
How can it be looked at any other way? Do you know what I mean? Look, people saying about Liverpool were happy to sell Fabinho, Henderson and Firmino getting thrown in even though he was a free. Newcastle get more for Miguel Almiron than we got for the 3 of them combined. Do you know what I mean? And why is that? They'll get more. They got more for Alan Saint-Maximin. He went out there as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why is that? So there's a huge conflict of interest. And whether there is or there isn't, there's again, my favourite word, narrative being set, a trend that's being set here that you've allowed a country to buy a Premier League club. This country are buying up all these players and now they're going to sell and buy from their fucking partner club in the Premier League to relieve financial stress. Sell Miguel Almiron to Saudi Arabia, but do not try and tell me he's worth that more than 10 million, please, because he's not. And what are they going to get from him? What's the figure? 40, are you saying? Is that?
We don't know, but you see, the thing is, if they sell those 3 players for a combined 50 or 60 million, it allows them to bring a few in, 1 or 2 in, and then it frees up wages for loans and stuff like that. It just
that's the thing. Like it's not a case of sell Almiron and Trippier, get 25 million or whatever for the 2 of them, and you can spend 20. They can spend fucking loads if they get rid of them. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they can spend what they get in. So
yeah.
They're just looking. They don't want. They came. Wasn't Newcastle? Someone in Newcastle itself came out and said they have to look at Isaac and
they have to look at a big sale. Possibly,
yeah,
they possibly have to look at it. Sorry, O'Sheen says, I think Al Shabaab being completely different owners, unlike Newcastle being PIF. Huge difference, he says. But albeit PIF influence could still exist at Al Shabaab. That must be the team that he's meant to be going to.
There's loads of fucking shit going on.
But the thing is, right?
PIF, and then you have Amarak. Is it Amarak? Someone correct?
Yeah, but the PIF
own the fucking oil that have bought other clubs. There's loads of shit going on.
The PIF officially own about 6 of the clubs, but they actually have hold of them all. Like, they're literally the government. You know what I mean, over there. So, but Dunner, just on like Keith says it there, the Newcastle stuff is a bit mad, and I've seen the argument like, oh well, look, if City wanted to loan a player from New York City to Manchester City, they can, and I'm not too sure if they can buy between each other. They might be able to loan.
David Walsh says it in there about the Pozzos with Watford, Udinese, and there's a Spanish team as well, isn't that Granada?
Well, Red Bull are the same. The Red Bull group, they operate between each other as well.
Yeah.
But there is a bit of a difference, but they're not bailing each other out.
Yeah.
So
this is the problem. This is where the whole argument comes in. Yeah. You know, the argument falls down.
This has been used as a means just to get Newcastle out of bother. Like, Red Bull Leipzig buying off Red Bull Salzburg isn't to get them out. That's a feeder club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not. Like, you know, Newcastle haven't fucking tried to develop Miguel Almiral to send him on to Saudi Arabia when he's coming to the end of his career.
Yeah.
You know, for extortionate amount of money. Come on, you know, everyone just needs to.
Yeah. Well, look, we have to wait and see if it happens. But like Kev said there earlier, the league had a chance to veto this and they voted not to. There are too many multi-club owned clubs in the league. I think the reason the league didn't veto is because there's a lot of clubs there that have no ties to Saudi Arabia going, yeah, but we can get rid of a few fucking lads here. We can bump up our transfer kitty by 50, 60 million if we can just get rid of two of these, because that's the way it was going. And you have to remember, they're all stakeholders in this, and they all pretend to look out for each other, but they'll bleed and slit each other's neck at the first chance, because while you see when the City stuff comes down the line, they'll all be literally piling onto the Premier League going, get them out. Don't care who they are, get them out. And they'll all get them out because that's just the way it goes. Like, but Dunner, awaiting the Newcastle stuff, it's been quiet. Do you expect it to stay that quiet? Because there's only 8 days, I think, left. 8-9 days, maybe.
It's not going to take off. That's the way it is, because no one can spend money. Not even United can spend money.
Yeah.
You know, they have to wait till the summer. Everyone has to wait till the summer. Arsenal can't get in the striker they need to get in. Yeah. You know, everyone, as you've already
said. So they're all looking at this 3-year period that the accounts are coming in, because now the accounts come in once a year, so they can keep on top of it and sanction you within the same season if needs be.
And everyone, look, I think Forest, they got rid of Emmanuel Dennis today. Like, Watford took him back and agreed to pay 70% of his wages.
Yeah.
So like, they're trying to clear out everything as much as they can at the moment. But
yeah,
like, you look at all the. Like, it's weird that none of the promoted clubs, usually they go mad in January as well. Like, they'd usually bring in a few loan players or, you know, a few desperation signings, but there's no one, they're not even moving.
So Sheffield United brought in Ben Brereton Diaz, which I think is a good move.
I didn't even know he'd gone to Villarreal, was he?
Yeah, he became a Chilean overnight and went out to play in Spain. He's back now at Sheffield United. So
yeah, mad seeing that.
So, like, there is no one. I don't think there's anyone going to make a move in the next, because it usually takes one of the big boys to make one move, and then it becomes the domino effect coming down the way. And I don't think any of them can. Like, Chelsea can't.
But even if say Dunner, see, I think it's different this time around, because even if, for argument's sake, Liverpool make a move, right, and say they go and they buy, I don't know, Inacio off Sporting Lisbon. Is Sporting Lisbon he's with? I think it is. I always get mixed up with all them teams up there, and they're all the same. If they sign him for 50 million, just for argument's sake, right? Sporting Lisbon then coming back into the UK to buy players off United and United or Newcastle or whoever. They're putting that into, that keeps us afloat for another couple of years, because the money we make off TV and revenue is nowhere near what anyone else, other clubs make around Europe. So it used to be something where you go, do you know what? They'll spend 50 and then it's usually a reaction, not even... It's usually a reaction of, they've spent it, we have to go and get something now. But I think there's so many clubs just sitting there going, we can't do anything. We can't do anything.
But Gav, you have the likes as well, like Serie A can't take players out of the Premier League now at the moment, because that tax has been taken away, where they had the relaxation on the tax for players' wages, where they were able to offer more money. That's been taken away now, so Serie A can't offer big money to the likes of anyone coming in from, say, La Liga or the Premier League. And usually they would come in as well in January and taking one or two players back into Serie A or chance their hand with someone who's out of favour. Yeah. So that usually freed up a bit of cash around Premier League, but that's not happening either. And La Liga's on its arse financially. So like the whole thing, genuinely, the whole thing feels like it's about to come in and collapse on itself.
Yeah.
The whole world football.
The thing about Newcastle was, like, there were loads of players out, just to go back to them for a minute, Keith, because the thing about them is, right, if you take them as a kind of case study, they've had quite a few players out, but you always thought at the start of the season, are they a bit light numbers-wise, right? Are they a bit light? They've lost a few, but I don't know if selling 3 players, i.e. Trippier, Callum Wilson and Almiron, and bringing possibly one in, does anything for Newcastle's prospects for the rest of the season. Are they writing off the season? Are they trying to reshape this squad one bit by bit and having to do it now under certain restrictions? Because I think they are looking around and they're saying to themselves, well, Jesus, if they're doing Everton and they're doing Forest and we have to hand in accounts every year now, and the big people ask, why is this happening? The reason it's happening is because the Everton stuff is going back 2 and 3 years, right? And what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring every club up to the end of the season and going, right, over your last 3 years, this is where you sit, you're inside it, you're fine, everything, and Forest aren't. So when we get to August, they're able to say, right, that's the end of the year, football year, whatever it might be. There you go, there's your accounts, you're not okay. Well, you're starting off on 10 points. So what or 10 minus 10 points. So what they're trying to do is they're keeping you in your 3-year cycle, but they're looking at it much more regularly than waiting 3 years and going, oh, do you remember that time in 2022 you was overspent? Well, in 2025 you're getting 10 points taken off you. Because clubs turn around and go, what? 3 fucking years later? So that's what they're trying to do. Keith, I think clubs are majorly snookered here. Like David Walsh says Gio Reyna is off the Forest, but it looks at it. But the talk is that Morgan Gibbs White is out that door. And, you know, they're probably just trying to keep the same amount of bodies. It looks, is it closing in? Has Donegal got a point? Is it closing in here? And Newcastle are the ones that are standing out like a sore thumb because they went and spent and thought this is going to be great up until about 6 months ago when it all started to kind of crash.
See, it's mad. Newcastle in their defence, right? I hate the situation at Newcastle that Saudi Arabia have bought them and they've the richest owners, and it's not a jealousy thing or anything like that. I just think sporting integrity is sort of lost with that sort of stuff. But to their defence, I think they've actually steadily tried to build up, you know, where they want it to be. The problem for them was they got into the fucking Champions League, and that's after killing them.
Yeah.
That is after
that puts
killing
you on a new
them.
level of FFP. Yeah,
The stricter UEFA controls that are there, but they didn't have a squad capable of competing. So they have so many players that just aren't at the races. Do you know, when you look at the Newcastle squad, yeah, they brought in Nick Pope, they brought in Dan Burn, they brought in Trippier, they brought in Botman, they brought in Lascelles, fucking Isaac, they brought in Gimerich, they brought in Joe Linton. We'll even throw him in because he's playing well. But for all them, they still have Manquillo, they still have fucking I can't think of them all now. Jacob Murphy Hill. There's a few stock in the shite that are still there. Dumme, you know, all these lads that are still there. They haven't been able to get rid of them boys. And I think they sort of got where they wanted to too quick, and it's after fucking them up a bit. But on the side note of that, I think they bought terribly this year. I think they have absolutely wasted a load of dough. Tonali, AC Milan knew what was coming down the line for him without a fucking shadow of a doubt.
Gordon has been a good signing for them.
Gordon has been a good signing, but and Liveramento's a good player, but he's not a needle. He doesn't move the needle for them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Harvey Barnes, haven't seen him. Do you know what I mean?
He played for them until someone mentioned yesterday.
Do you know what I mean? Like
the lad Hill from Chelsea, so isn't he even going back?
Doesn't get a sniff. Like I don't think they bought really well, and that's
is that not the left back that apparently they have to pay 35 million for at the end of the season?
Yeah, if he plays so many games, I think, isn't it?
Oh, right, okay.
But so there's a lot of players in the Newcastle squad that I think they got too quick. I think if Newcastle, well, they're not going to admit that they didn't want to come top 4 last year, but I think if they had it over again, if they had a deal over, they would say, look, no, you know, we'll gradually build our way up. Because we had good days out in the Champions League. Well, 1 or 2, but you know, they got to where every team wants to be, but they're also realising that the noose is tightening. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of clubs are going to feel that now. And about time, by the way, about time. You know, we've championed Liverpool, and people get annoyed about FSG, and you know, we cheer FSG cheerleaders. FSG have always wanted this. They've always wanted play and work within your means. Look, Spurs have had to cut that cloth a bit as well. They're able to go out and bring in your man Dragason, and I know Timo Werner's only on loan. But the teams that are well sort of looked after can do what they want to do. Like if Liverpool wanted to bring in a player now, they could. They just don't. Yeah. They don't want to, or they don't need to. Do you know what I mean? Whether you agree with that or not, they don't need to. So it's the desperate clubs that are stupid. And January is always a mad desperate month for it. Yeah, we do good business in it traditionally, but others panic in it.
Yeah, and people think that it's going to change come the summer. It's not, because you're still in the same financial times. It's not like they're looking back going, oh, I didn't spend that in January. That doesn't matter. We're looking at 3 years. The only change to this rule is that we are able to deal with you quicker. That's all it is. It's instead of us banging around and bleeding January next year, going, what's going on with fucking Chelsea, or what's going on? Now the City thing's different because that's legacy stuff that goes back years, and it's a totally different issue. But
they're more fraud and all that.
But I don't think we'd be banging around this time next year going, what's going on with Everton, or what's going on? Because everyone will know where they stand. They'll literally be told before the season starts or before the window starts, this is what you've spent, this is how much you've lost. You cannot do any more than that. And it tightens everyone's belt. The ones that come out of it the best are possibly Liverpool. But we'll have to wait and see the financial results, which usually come out around March time, I think. You'll have to see Liverpool, like I said, Liverpool. There's other clubs, Spurs, because of the Harry Kane stuff, have done quite well, but they spent an awful lot of money as well. So we'll have to see what way it goes. But before we finish, I asked you to do some homework. You didn't, you bollocks, do it? You start being mad vague at the start. But anyway, I said to you, it's quiet in January, right? The FFP is kind of strangling it. We spoke about that. But clubs still need something. Whether that's to stay in the league, pull away from a relegation zone, push into the Europa Conference, Europa League, get into Champions League, win a title, whatever it might be. But I didn't let you choose Liverpool because we just sat here going, I think we should sign him, and you go, oh, so do I. And people will be going, look at this, he mongos, right? But have you got a player? I have one. Well, I have a team and a player.
Yeah, I have the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Go on, Donna. I'll let you go first. What team? Now, it has to be realistic. But what, and given the situation they're in and stuff like that, what team would you pick, and what player would you look to bring in for whatever reason to keep a team up or whatever it might be? Who are you going with?
Arsenal and Bobby Firmino.
See, I don't know.
Oh, I really like the idea of that. If I'm an Arsenal fan, I really like the idea of that.
I think Bobby does what they're looking for Havertz or Gabriel or Jesus to do. I think he floats in between and does exactly what they need. He
lets the wide players be as dangerous as they possibly can.
Yeah, he knits all that together for 6 months. So he does, and he allows them all to play, and he'll actually bring out more of Odegaard as well. So I think he'd be a diamond in that team. Absolutely.
I think that's a great show.
I think he's had a wee holiday as well, so he'd be refreshed. I'd probably get him in on loan as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great show because I think what's happening with Arsenal is I think the white men have been overrated a little bit. I think they're fantastic talents, and I expect one of them to be at Man City next season.
They don't do the digits.
Right. No, they don't. But I don't think Arsenal play in order to let them do that. You need a freedom off that side, and you need to be giving them opportunities. They spend way too much time out wide. Way too much. He's actually turned them into two out-and-out wingers for me, and that has to stop. Yeah, Saka used to be a fella for coming inside. He'd start out wide, but he'd get inside, and many times he's hitting the ball from the edge of the D, and he's scoring goals. And they just don't play to their strengths, and they're the two best players for me, bar Odegaard. But the most impactful players is Saka and Martinelli for me. And Jesus is in and out of the team because of injury. Havertz is not a fucking false 9. He just simply isn't. Eddie Nketiah has pace, but I don't think he has the intelligence as a footballer.
He's a mid-table player.
Yeah, I think the Firmino show is a great show. Whether they can get him, I'm not too sure. Whether Firmino come back and play for anyone else in England, I'm not too sure. But I think your thinking on it is brilliant because he basically go, I'll stand in here and I'll attract people to me, and I'll ping balls off here, there, and everywhere. Yeah. And you will be just running on inside left and inside right channels rather than out wide. It's a really good shout, that. And on a loan, Arsenal love that. Keith?
Similar, and not Bobby Firmino, and someone's at the mention it there in the chat. Paul Gormley said, I wouldn't be shocked if Benzema went to Chelsea on loan. I think Benzema to Arsenal on loan is a much better option for 6 months. The reason I disagree with the Bobby Firmino to Arsenal show is they need a striker in the box. They don't need somebody that's floating around outside the box. They have Havertz, they have Jesus. They don't have a target man. And when Bobby Firmino worked for Liverpool, it was because Mo Salah and Sadio Mane were getting into them spaces. If Arsenal now have Saka and Martinelli going wider, there's no point having a fucking fella who's
but they're going wider because of the fella that's playing in the middle.
Yeah,
You're looking
which is
to
who.
across the box.
I think, listen, you flip of a coin. I think if you put Benzema or Firmino in there and went, listen, we're playing off, not as a focal point, because that sounds like he's a bit of a bleeding Jan Collar. It's not like that. What I'm saying is a focal point in, we will, our central attacking ideas will form around this guy. But when he gets it, we need you in as central as possible because he'll find you. Benzema is the same. Benzema is such a good player. He's not just a great guy. He's such a good
He
player as
wants
well.
out of Saudi Arabia. They all do, right? So
Yeah.
he wants out of there. But I wouldn't see, and this ties in with what we've spoken about, because teams, Victor Osimhen is who everybody wants. You know, well, not everybody. Chelsea and Arsenal want Victor Osimhen. He's said today he's going to make his decision. He's going to end up at Chelsea, but Chelsea are like, that bubble has to burst at some stage.
That's where the summer comes in and the whole FFP.
Yeah, and Ivan Toney, he's not going to
Do you
Brentford
really
ain't going
think
to sell
Osimhen
even
goes to
Toney.
Chelsea, Keith?
I think so. He's a Chelsea fan, isn't he? And every
he?
time
Who?
Chelsea
Ivan Toney?
fan, Victor Osimhen.
Oh,
Every time a fan says come to Chelsea, he's putting up praying emojis and all that. Look, I think it's nailed on that he wants to go to Chelsea. I think they will do
in
something this
fairness,
summer.
Andrew Dan says Benzema's on $1 million a week.
Yeah, but alone pay half.
Yes.
But that's why I'm sort of saying, right, if a player wants out of Saudi Arabia and he's gone AWOL and all, he didn't show up for training, Benzema, so he clearly wants out of there. Either he's going to sit on that and just get paid, or he's going to scrap it and he's going to get out of there. He'll have to take a pay cut, take a bit of a haircut to come to Arsenal, but he still get good whack. Arsenal's still paying good money on a 6-month loan, so they're not committing too much to him. Do you know what I mean? They're not signing him. They're just bringing him in on loan just to get them. That's what, if I was an Arsenal fan, I would think Arsenal have no chance. We spoke about this on the show all the time. They've no chance, in my opinion, of winning the league because of their striker situation. They're all samey. We spoke about Havertz and Jesus and Eddie Nketiah being fucking lower mid-table player. That's all you're getting with Arsenal, unless they have somebody that can put the ball in the net. So they need to get somebody that can do that. And Bobby Firmino, I love Bobby. He's one of my favourite players. He loves scoring at the Emirates and all that. But I love scoring against Arsenal. I just think a Benzema for 6 months would bang for them the way they'd need.
Yeah.
Or if he doesn't, big commitment.
I think it's a good argument overall. What?
Last night that he's going to Saudi, Keith. Osimhen agent released it.
Did he?
Osimhen's going to the South.
Well then. Didn't they try to sign him before and he wouldn't go?
Oisin McGlinchey says Laporte to Villa. Why not? Another one that wants out of Saudi. Oh, I think Oisin is not reporting that's happening. I think that's Oisin's pick.
He's a good shout. Yeah,
I think Laporte is, if he was looking to get out of there, Laporte would be a fantastic signing for anyone. And dare I say it, if United could get hold of Laporte, it'd be a big signing for them for the rest of the season. But that's not my player. Tell you what my player is.
They need so much.
Tell you what my player is. It's the Ev.
See, I've more than one player. It's not the Ev, but I was focusing on that bottom one.
The Ev and the player is Callum Wilson. And
of course, because everyone needs goals.
Right?
Everyone needs goals.
And the reason being is because if they're looking to get rid of Callum Wilson, why would Callum Wilson go off to Spain? Right? Or Italy, when he can turn around and go, I'll just do 6 months at Everton. I'm in a no-lose situation. I'm still under contract at Newcastle. And if I want to make a move in the summer, I'll make a move in the summer. And he needs somebody, because Dominic Calvert-Lewin can't stay fit. I listen to the Blue Room all the time, and he said he's just confidence completely gone. Your man Beto is just a stocking by the looks of it. And they need someone that's physical, strong, bit of pace, can finish. I think Everton don't have any money, but I think they should probably go to Callum and go, look, someone's rocking a boat here where they want you out, but you probably don't want to go. So what we'll do is we'll pay your wages. We'll pay our wages and you come in for 6 months here. Yeah, no obligation, no nothing. Bring him in. And like, if you ask the question, why not? Paul Gormley is saying, because it's Everton, Gav. Wilson can't stay fit, but I just think if them teams in America, Spain and Italy are looking at him, right? Why isn't Everton looking at him? I think he works for them. I think that the style of play they have, everything will point to saying, give him 6 months. Just put him
They
in there for
can't even
6 months.
afford the
And if
money to put his name on a jersey.
he's 17 games left. If he plays in 10 of them, I think you're getting 10 better forward performance than you're getting out of the other 2 lads at the moment. That's what it'd be. Have you any other players before we go?
Yeah, well, I was on the same sort of buzz there. I was thinking Luton. If I'm Luton,
Oh, I was thinking of Luton
I'm
earlier as
bringing
well.
in somebody as well. And it's a striker as well, but it's not a prolific striker. It's your man Broja off Chelsea. That's who I was
50
thinking of.
million reporting for him.
The what?
50 million they want for him.
Yeah, we're always talking about getting him on loan. I mean, just loaning him in. I was looking at if I'm a little because I was thinking the same thing as you, Gav, the Everton one, but I don't think they've screed that he can bring anyone in. It's a good show, by the way, Callum Wilson. And I think Eddie Nketiah, who we mentioned, if they brought in a striker for a lower team, Eddie Nketiah might do a job or whatever. But I just think if I'm a Luton, I'm looking for that their strikers are pony. They've got 4 and 5 goals or whatever for the season. Goals win games. Goals will keep you up. Is Broja the man to do it? Probably not. But I was looking at the top teams and who maybe surplus the requirements. And Chelsea have another fella, David Washington, a Brazilian forward. He's only 18. I don't think he's going to really do anything there. But I looked at Broja and I thought, right, they've so many players there. And Kunkel coming back, they've got Nicholas Jackson and all. When he's back from AFCON and things like that, Broja is not going to get much game time. So I was thinking something like that just to go and do a job to try and get the goals, because someone always sneaks it. We spoke about Sheffield United brought Ben Brereton Diaz. You need to do something. You need to get a goal scorer in there, and if you can get it, even though Diaz he scored for Sheffield United the other day, he done okay. You need a player that can go in and do that. So I would do Luton. I'd be doing anything to get a striker that can get a few goals.
What about a quick
because you can read them.
Just off the top of my head there quickly, what about Newcastle getting in Onana from Everton if they do sell Almiron?
Well, apparently Newcastle are huge fans of him.
Arsenal
are known to be fans of him as well. But from what I get very mixed feelings off him. Because, again, and I'm only going off the Blue Room because that's why I listen to Everton, because the other ones are off their rocker, right? The other Everton gear, right? They're all bleeding mad, right? But the Blue Room are kind of going, this feels like a player who, in his own head, is better than Everton and will want to move to a bigger club than Everton, but doesn't show enough. Even in a poor team, doesn't show enough where he's leading the midfield. Mightn't be a good midfield, but he's leading it and he's getting there and he's getting assists, or they feel like they're quite unsure about him. Now, having said that, when he came in at Everton, first handful of games when Everton were kind of not terrible, he looked really, really good. But I start to wonder, is his kind of star starting to fade a little bit, simply because of the team he's in, and he hasn't really reacted to what's going on at Everton. And there seems to be an awful lot of him, just roiling the crowd up to kind of get them going. But I remember the Blue Room going, you can roil us up all you want, but you ain't fucking doing that to get us fucking excited, let's be honest.
Newcastle seem horny for Gibbs White, according to the chat, so maybe that's what they're looking to do, bring in Morgan Gibbs White.
Maybe so.
Newcastle. That's what a lot of them in the chat are saying, that Newcastle are looking at Gibbs White.
He's a very good footballer.
I think if Laporta's available, I think there should be a couple around him looking. Even to take him on a loan for 6 months and then see where they stand.
I think that could be the shout, Gav. I think looking at Saudi Arabia, because Firmino wants out, Fabinho wants out, Henderson's gone to Ajax. Milinkovic-Savic came out and says he's desperate to get out of there. He wants to go back to bleeding Lazio. I think there's deals to be done, and maybe a little loan, because the wages is gone. They're all earning a fucking shitload.
Milinkovic will be back at Milan.
Dan J.
Yeah, he'll be there in Italy, won't he?
Who? He goes to Milan.
Milinkovic-Savic.
Oh yeah, Ian Nacho to Everton, says Dan J. Can play as a second striker, the main line, impact sub as well. The only problem there is I think Leicester are flying the top of that.
Yeah, you'd have to pay, wouldn't you?
I don't think they'd be wanting anyone out the gap.
And he refuses to score against City as well. So
yeah, he doesn't like scoring. So if they play City, there's no point in playing him. He just puts it wide. I'm trying to actually think of clubs that went down last season that have still fairly big players and aren't having a great season, and I'm struggling.
See, the relegated teams are flying at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so the three that went down last season was Leicester,
Southampton and
and
Leeds.
Southampton, and I think they're all in
They're
the
all
top
doing
5.
well. Yeah, they're all doing
Yeah.
well, and they're sort of on a good run. So like Bamford is back for Leeds. Let's say could one of the relegation scrappers deal with a Bamford? Maybe. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah, but
another one I had.
he's only been fit for about 4 games in the last
See,
year.
that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, taking that risk.
Southampton with a championship squad as well. Like you wouldn't take anyone from them.
Yeah,
exactly. There's not much. But if a young Argentinian fella, don't the Alvarez or something that was doing well, you're not going to risk it on a kid like that. One move I do if I'm in, and it's probably being done because me Osman Shell's gone up in smoke already. If I'm Crystal Palace, I'm sacking Roy Hodgson today.
without a shadow of a doubt.
Did you not see it? They come out earlier and says he's staying.
He didn't, did I? I should do more fucking homework on this.
You should turn on the telly or something, Keith, or the
I'm
radio or
a
something.
busy blade man, Gav. As you know, I'm not. Don't have downtime at the
You're up to your
moment.
Oxfords with all different sorts of sports and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's staying till the end of the season, then he's out.
They could be in with a real chance of being in trouble.
I was just looking at the table there. Yeah, they're down there, and there's no. You know the way that new manager bounce. I don't even think you could get a manager in that'll, would work without money or whatever. But just to get the players lifted, they're not a bad squad. They're much better than they're shown.
To be honest with you, I'm surprised somebody hasn't gone into Palace and looked at Gahey or Eze or the other lad, Elise. But every time that Elise fella gets mentioned, right, I go and look at Palace and I look there and he's not there. Does he play for Crystal Palace? What's the story?
He's had a very bad injury season this year.
Has he? Right, okay. Because every time I look, I go, I'll have a look. Is he playing tonight? And he's never there.
That lad as well. Remember, we were looking at him in the summer. Is he the Core as well? Is he?
Yeah, the Core in the midfield as well. Yeah,
he's been injured for a lot of it as well.
I'm surprised just with how poor they've been. Someone hasn't gone, you know what, let's try pull the fucking trigger on one of these here. They're probably in up to the height of having to listen to Roy all day. They'll push through and get a move out. Do you know what I mean? But look, it'll be interesting. There's 9 days to go. I don't think an awful lot is going to happen. I don't even think one big move from somebody will trigger that much, to be honest with you. I just think it's going to be one where it'll kind of stutter to the end and we'll be all kind of where we are now, bar probably 1 or 2 maybe. Yeah. But the 1 or 2, I don't know if they'll make massive differences to the team. Like Giovanni Reina at the Forest, he's the laziest player I've ever seen in my life. Every time I watch him, he's no interested in running. Great with the ball.
There's too many fucking players as well.
Yeah, so I don't know. Palace in the Championship won't hurt anyone, says Wizard. Fairness. Luton should be bringing Timo Pukki back from America. They could do worse.
Yeah. Someone to bang. That's all they need. Someone to bang goals.
The only thing is, I think that the sort of chances they get is kind of built for the lad that's up front for them. That causes a bit of mayhem. If I'm Luton, I'm probably looking at an attacking wing back, a good attacking wing back, or a good attacking. They kind of play a 5-3, 5-4-1 kind of system. Do you know what? I don't know where he is at the minute, but he might be still at Forest. Is Nico Williams still at Forest?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Is he getting games?
He comes on. He still gets involved. I think that could be a good signing for Luton. And Nico Williams.
Actually, another one for Luton, but I think he's moved, didn't he, during the summer? Sanderberg. He would have been a good midfielder for Luton.
Yeah, he's at Burnley now.
Yeah,
he's at Burnley.
Yeah, he went to Burnley, which was mad that Sheffield United would sell to Burnley, but just goes to show teams have to watch what they're, they can't be fussy now.
That's the thing. Mutu to Everton. Is that the guy that was Swansea? He was deadly for a year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But there we go. Red Steve says, can't wait for Gav's big reveal. Has he gelled his hair up like Dunner or shaved his head like No, it's just on cold. Just me hair. Look, there's me hair there. It's all still there and all, like fucking grey head of hair on me. Fair play to me.
You do have a good solid head of hair, I'll give you. Not as good as Dunner's, but
no, Dunner's is fucking fantastic.
A lot of work goes into it.
Fucking same shampoo as Lawson. He's the same shampoo as Shoulders. I don't care what anyone says. But anyway, we're gonna leg it, and we've gone over our hour because we always do. Tomorrow morning. Oh, before we go, link is in the description for the fundraiser. I know you're all getting paid on Thursday. Thursday 25th. I know you're all there. I'm gonna haunches from there on in. But if you have a spare $5 or you're gonna buy a coffee for tomorrow, don't. Get in there, hit the link for the GoFundMe, donate a $5 or donate a $10 wherever you can. We're really going to push it from the end of January. We're giving you grace in January, and then we're going to ham you over for the next 4 months: February, March, April, May, and June. So we're going to hammer you over to try to get to the 10 grand. The link is in the description. If you can't donate, please share. It's for two brilliant organisations to help a lot of people, both in Ireland and the UK. And Dublin and Liverpool in particular. A lot of people that can't make ends meet. I told the story the other night. I'll tell it again. Storm in Dublin the other day. Horrible out. The Lighthouse, who are doing work for and on behalf of, we're putting out social media posts like anybody out in that sort of weather shouldn't be. Please come down. We've opened their cafe on Pier Street to let people in, get them, they can dry their clothes, they'd spare clothes for people, they'd food, hot drinks, whatever it might be. So that's the sort of thing you're putting your money towards, which is very, very good. The football prizes stuff, I think they're down to the last 4 tickets. Gerrard and Alonso combined, framed, signed 2005 jerseys with the mini screen on that as well. What highlights of Istanbul, the LED lights, all the works. I think they're down to the last 4 tickets. Jump in and have a look. The link is in the description. You might get that as well. Keith, anything else before we go?
No, Stevie G signing a new deal out in Saudi Arabia while everyone else is jumping ship. I found was very interesting.
I'm grand here. He's just sitting there smoking. He's like,
how long do you have to stay here till you get your money? 3, yeah. Sign me up. I'll do another couple of years of that. No bother.
Sign me up there, pal. I'll do another year.
Literally nothing else to do.
Yeah. Going back to Farmby down with a big, massive bag of cash.
Look, I'm just glad it keeps him away from Liverpool, to be honest.
He'll never get
I know people might be a bit sceptical about that, but I just don't think he's a good coach. So the longer
he'll never get the Liverpool job.
No,
simply won't. Not the standard there football club is at the moment. He will simply not get a sniff of it. Dunner, anything else before we go?
No, nothing, Gav. All good.
Happy?
Power. We're going to win tomorrow?
Yeah, I fancy us tomorrow.
Yeah.
I do fancy us tomorrow. I think
positive vibes around them. Yeah.
Well, they'll have to come out. I think it depends how we handle them. We're going to talk about it more in the morning, but they'll have to come out and play a bit more. They're a goal down. Now, I'm not saying they'll come out of the traps like lunatics. They may do, but they'll look to stay in it for as long as they can. They'll play this game like it's the second half of a normal game, but it'll be just a 90-minute second half, if you know what I mean, where if they can get down to the last 15 and they're still in it and then push. But I think if they do come out and play, I think when they didn't come out and play at Anfield, they tired. And tiring and coming out and playing can be very similar where you leave gaps. And if you leave gaps, I think Liverpool will hurt you. And they'll hurt
does
you
badly. Does he go with Van Dijk or Canade with Kwanzaa?
Van Dijk.
Think so?
I think he'll go with Van Dijk and Canade.
I think he goes Van Dijk.
I think he goes strong. But the fact they play Norwich at the weekend in the Cup, I think Kwanzaa comes in for that. I think the 2 games we played against Fulham,
I'll tell you what happens. Right? I feel like
this better be better than the point I was going to make.
No, it's Leeds. You usually make a point, then you forget how we were going. But listen, here's what he does. He plays Van Dijk with Kwanzaa. Right? He plays Van Dijk with Kwanzaa tomorrow. And at the weekend, he plays Joe Gomez with Kwanzaa. And he brings Robertson in at left back.
Ooh.
That's what he does.
Yeah. I think there will be a bit
was
of
that better than what you were going to say?
No, it certainly wasn't. I forget what I was going to say. No, do you know what I was going to say? I agree with you. I think there will be, I think it could be a half Van Dijk, Canade, or Van Dijk, Kwanzaa, and then Canade comes in. I think he'll use the squad a lot more.
Okay.
But my point was going to be Fulham in the league in December and then in the League Cup, they set out to just waste time from the first fucking minute in both games. That was their game plan.
Yeah.
They tried to frustrate. They're a goal down in this tie. I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can afford. I think they have to come out and try and play, and I think we'll pop them out. I think we'll pop off them when they do that.
I might change my opinion in the morning though when I'm talking to Kev.
Just before you head off, Andrew in the chat there saying Pádraig Amon signing for Waterford.
Yeah.
The biggest deal at the League of Ireland transfer window so far, Ed McGinty coming back to Sligo Rovers on loan.
So, of course, League of Ireland, as Andrew says there, is back in 2 weeks. Pádraig Amon, formerly of Sligo and Rovers. And one other maybe. No, just Sligo and Rovers. Over in England for a long time, back with Waterford. McGinty, the goalkeeper. Yeah, he was bleeding, slutting himself around half the League of Ireland there he was. How did you just get hold of him in the end?
He was always coming home.
Will you stop out of that? He was down in Dalymount taking selfies and everything he was. No, the League of Ireland is back in 2 weeks. If you get out and watch a game of it, I promise you, if you go out and watch a game of League of Ireland, you go back and watch more. That's all I'll say to you.
Yeah.
That's 100%. The quality has gone up and up and up over the years of me watching it anyway. It's definitely gone up. The crowds have gone up. The facilities are slowly going up. But people going through gates and giving money to football clubs that work the bollocks off only helps to bring the facilities up in the future. Right, we're going. We're definitely going, right? No more. Shut up the Tiwies. Thanks a million to Keith. Thanks a million to Donna. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. Don't forget the link for the link for the fundraiser. Don't forget the link if you want one of the last few tickets on the Alonso Gerrard double signed jersey as well, framed and all that stuff. And yeah, tomorrow 10 a.m. me and Kev will have a deep look at Fulham, but we want your random stuff. We'll do 10 minutes on Fulham and 20 minutes on, I don't know, crisps. It's usually crisps. It's usually food, air fryers. We're literally going through air fried homemade chips, recipes last week for 25 minutes. It was insane. So we will be doing that tomorrow. 10 to 8 tomorrow night for the members. Me and Emma are watching the game from the Florence Cinema Pongols Pagola out my back. And we're going to be watching the second leg of the game for members. If you want to join us and watch that with us, it's always a bit of crack. It's great because we're in the share, we're out in there and it's open, so I just sit there smoking, talking to them. It's just a crack. And then at 10 o'clock or whenever the game is over, the lads will be there with your reaction show. So 3 shows tomorrow, Jesus. And that's how our Wednesday looks. Thursday and Friday should we let you know about it tomorrow. That has been a Premier League chat with Keith, with Donna, with me, Gav, and loads of people in the chat. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.